Hi Taurus, so this is your family reading. I had this idea because I feel like I've watched enough YouTubers that have done tarot to realize that they mostly just focus on love readings, but I feel like family and other connections are just as important. So I wanted to be able to touch base on that and see what's going to be happening for my Tauruses when it comes to family related. So keep in mind that this will not resonate for every single Taurus out there. This is a general reading after all. Also, I did have the video as a timeless. So whenever you stumble across this, I feel like this is when you are meant to hear it. So yeah, let's get started, Taurus. So what is my Taurus is going through? What person, what family member is Taurus dealing with? The main collective of Taurus. Okay. A lot, and a lot of cards. Okay. So we have buffalo. We have lamb, turtle, and starfish. I don't know why I'm acting all weird now. It's like I was all fine, and then right when I clicked on to create this video, Taurus, I just started acting all awkward for some reason. I don't know why. So what I am feeling here, Taurus, is I am okay. Um hmm. It feels like this could be a parental thing, like as if you were the parent and maybe this is like your husband or something. Because I'm sensing like the lamb is like innocent, like it's a child involved, and it's like the buffalo is like the mama bear, like protecting the lamb in a way. And then the turtle is like another, like the spouse or somebody. What it feels like to me, it almost feels like there's a dispute going on when it comes to how to raise a child. And for some of you, it might not necessarily be like a spouse that you are arguing with. For some of you, it can be like your own parent complaining about how you raise your kids, right? Something like that. But I'm sensing that there is a family member that is involved in this situation, and I'm just sensing for whoever I'm honing in for, this is like Tauruses that have their own children, or you just have a strong opinion about your nephew or your niece, or something like that. Like it's like a child is involved, and it feels almost like the need to protect this kid. That's just what it feels like. And it feels like the other person is saying things like, oh, you just coddle your kid too much, or you just do this too much with your kid. Like this person's just consistently putting down your parenting skills. But what's interesting is, Taurus, what I am sensing for some of you, okay, is because I'm sensing with the starfish, it's almost like you feel like you're a good parent, right? You look at it and think, well, if for instance, if it's like a parent who's telling you how to raise your child properly, it's almost like you look at that parent and think, well, how much have you messed me up? Like, I don't want to put my kids through that. And this person could be making fun of you or just putting you down, Taurus, for how you raise your kid. And you're like, excuse me? Like, this is my kid. Let me raise my kid how I want to raise my kid. And it just feels like you're getting judged. For some of you, it's because your kid wants to do something and everyone's like, oh, don't let your kid do it. Or it's potentially how you're raising the kid. I don't know how to describe it. It's like, for some of you guys, you really just want to nurture your kid's talents. You really want to nurture your kid and let the your child be happy, right? I'm sensing heavily here that you're a parent in this situation. And if that's the case, then perfect. This reading's for you. But it feels that way to me, honestly. It feels like you're the buffalo, your child's the lamb, whoever is trying to get involved with the child. It could be, for instance, you might not have been married to this person, but you might have had children with this person, and then this person thinks that they just have things to say about how you raised their kid too. Or it could be like just a spouse. It could be a sibling. That I'm just sensing that there's somebody here that is belittling you, and they do it in a way where, like, I don't know, I just feel like even your kid, for some of you, you have like really little kids, like a baby, or like 2 or 3 years old, and for some of you, your kid's a lot older. And for those of you whose kids are a lot older, I feel like some of them have heard this, and they'll be like, oh no, mom or dad, you're a great parent. Because I keep sensing, like, with the starfish, it's almost like a pat on the back, like you're giving yourself and your kids giving you a pat on the back. It just feels like you're defending your family from your family. That makes sense. Like your immediate family, like your children, and then like your siblings and your parents. It's like somebody is, like, for instance, your kid could be different. Maybe your kid actually has like some kind of disease or some kind of like mental problem, but like what I'm sensing is like there's something there where your kid is unique and others just don't understand your kid. And that's just what I'm sensing, because your kid seems like such a sensitive soul, and your kid seems like such a person that would cry. And like, I feel like for some of you, maybe your kid would cry and then that person would be like, man up, or, you know, don't be a baby. Like, I feel like people are trying to change your kid around you, and you're like, no. If my kid wants to cry, I'm gonna let my kid cry. And like, people have given you crap for that. For some of you, I'm just sensing that, you know, your kid's very sensitive, and your kid is sensitive with energies as well. So your kid has a hard time sometimes maybe in social situations, and oftentimes other parents or other people will judge you for that. So that makes it kind of hard for you, Taurus. But that's just what I'm picking up so far. So hopefully this is resonating for a good majority of my Tauruses, but I'm just feeling like there's a child involved, and my goodness, are you really trying to protect that kid? It's like a loving, it's coming from a good place. But you also have to, like, I don't know. It's interesting. Let's just kind of get more energy here. So, let's see. Let's get some tarot going. Okay. So, we have the 5 of Swords. We have the Tower, the King of Cups, the Page of Cups, the 9 of Cups, the 3 of Wands, the 3 of Cups, and the 4 of Swords. So, honestly, what I am kind of getting here a little bit, Taurus, is it just feels like you no longer want to deal with the conflict, because I'm sensing for some of you, it's something that has happened previously in the past that still irks you when it comes to what maybe people have done or said to you about your kid, or have belittled you for. Like there was an incident, like a family get together or something like that, and it just ended in a disaster, and you still have upset emotions about it. It's still like turning inside of you. But on the most part, you're happy. I feel like, honestly, Taurus, you're building a decent life for yourself and your child and for your family in general. But it feels like there are things that you're trying to achieve, Taurus, and it's frustrating because you haven't gotten there yet. And it's like you have a decent support network, it feels like, to some extent. Like there are some people that accept you and your kid. There's people that accept you in your life, and you love those people and you appreciate those people. But there's still something that's making you pause. And I think it's because there are some people still that you feel like don't appreciate who you are and who your child is. It just feels like there are just people that cause conflict, and it's like you don't like your kid around this person, but I feel like this person that's complaining is either like a parent of that child, or is like their grandparents, or um your siblings, like their aunts or uncles or something like that. Like I'm just sensing that like this is somebody that's in your kid's life because they're family, but yet it's like this person, in this person's mind, they think that trying to toughen the kid up is good for them. They think that that's something that the kid needs, right? And you're coming at it from, no, the kid needs to be loved and nurtured. And although I think you're both wrong and you're both right, because what I'm feeling here is I'm sensing that you, like, I'm honing in on a more of a motherly like energy. It's a very feminine energy. And it's like you are very protective and very caring for your child, and you do the best you can to essentially make your child be healthy, happy, grow strong. Like you want your kid to succeed in life, but you're also so afraid of your kid getting hurt, or you're so afraid, like some of you could be like helicopter parents, and that can be a little damaging for your child. So I can see why that person can look at it from that point of view and be kind of negative and be a little assertive. But I also think that the way the person is coming about it is the wrong way as well. But I'm also seeing it from both perspectives. It really just feels like this person looks at this kid and thinks, this kid, life is tough, life is hard. I want this kid to understand that at a young age so that they're prepared for the world when they grow up. And that feels more like a masculine energy to me. And it feels like there's just that tug of war back and forth with the masculine and the feminine energy between the two of you. And the kid's like in the middle, like monkey in the middle. And I think that you're both right. I think that teaching the kid to learn hard lessons in life is a good thing to prepare the kid as well. But I'm also sensing like you can't always be so harsh either. So it's interesting because it just kind of feels like it's a tough spot. So let's clarify the Five of Swords. Okay. Whoa, that was so cool. That just flipped straight on to what I was trying to clarify. It's like Emperor right there. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Whoa. Okay. So there's just a decision that essentially needs to come down to making. You don't want conflict anymore, but this person I don't think is trying to cause conflict. I think this person just really wants to help. It's interesting because we have the Empress and the Emperor here. The Empress is in the reverse though, but I think what's happening is for some of you guys, this really could just be a spouse and you could just have children, and this person, you know, is trying to do things his way or her way. But both of you don't really want to cause conflict within each other, especially because it's sense that the masculine side, the one that's saying, no, we need to teach the kid tough lessons, this person's doing it from a state of love and concern, and you're both coming at it from, I love this child. Like, I'm not sensing really anything malicious or really anything harmful to the child at all. I'm just sensing just the complaining of how to raise this child is what makes it hard. For some of you guys, you could just be newborn parents or something like that. But for others of you, like the kid could be older. I'm just sensing that it's like this, both of you just care so deeply for this kid, but it caused an emotional upheaval, whatever has occurred that has caused this initial argument, because it feels like there's emotions that need to be addressed when it comes to this relationship and this family. Because I'm just sensing that for some of you guys, you just don't feel fulfilled when it comes to certain areas of your life, but especially when it comes to certain family members or just certain things like that. Because again, I feel like you're very emotionally upset about this, and because of that, you're not really allowing yourself to see things from different perspectives and different points of view. I'm also getting this, and this is only going to be for I'm just sensing like for one or a couple of Taurus, like a little tiny handful. For some of you guys might have had a hard time getting pregnant. You might have worked really, really hard to getting pregnant and did everything you could. You might have even had some miscarriages and things that has caused a lot of emotional distress. And then when you did have this child, it was like a godsend. It was a blessing. You were so grateful. You were so happy. I almost want to cry. Oh my God. You were so happy. You were so grateful to have this child. And that's another reason I think you're so like loving and coddling to this child, is because you tried so hard multiple times to get pregnant and it took years. And for some of you were finally able to do that. And again, that's not going to be obviously for every Taurus, but you're just having to learn, when you evaluate your emotions, you just have to learn to acknowledge the good and the bad, because I'm sensing that it's almost like both of you are on two extremes when it comes to like taking care of a child. And it's not bad, because oftentimes that is kind of what happens, right? Like we go from one extreme to the other. It feels like you're really coddling and then the other person is like really all about discipline and structure and like being essentially making the kid grow up faster than the kid needs to. But it's like you're both doing it from a way of hurt wounds from childhood. And when you learn to acknowledge your own wounds, then you'll learn to not repeat that with your child. Because I am sensing for some of you guys, maybe you came from a broken home, or you came from some kind of environment where you felt like you needed to be like you want to love your child and coddle your child. You might have come from an abusive home. And so because of that, you don't want to be abusive. So instead you can completely do the opposite, right? So it's like one extreme to the other. It's like you don't want to be like your parents, so you go the opposite direction, which is still equally just as damaging for the child, just in different ways. So just be careful of that, because I am sensing that for some of you guys, if this is resonating so far, that's what's happening, is you're having a hard time really reevaluating like your childhood and acknowledging where maybe you have childhood wounds that you're now transporting to your child. And same with this other person, like you're both doing it. So it's like I don't look at this person like this person's wrong, and I don't look at you like you're wrong or right. I just look at two of you holding an opinion that are both equally valid, because you both care for the child. But I think that if you guys can both work together or combined that to where you will always be there for your kid, and your kid knows that they'll always have a fallback, but to also know that your kid can wander off and get hurt and explore the world, right? You need to let your kid sometimes be allowed to have that freedom to some extent, to where that kid can figure out who they are, that kid can learn more about themselves, and learning the hard lessons as well, because we came here to learn lessons, right? So because I'm not sensing it's anything bad, and I think that you really, like, both of you do have really good intentions. I'm just feeling that for this energy, it just feels like you and your family, like, you're very happy with your child. Like, you don't want to change your child. It doesn't feel like you want to change your child. It just feels like you want to protect that kid. But in doing so, you're juggling back and forth, trying to be a good parent, but also it's almost like you're afraid to disappoint your kid because you've been disappointed. But that's also parts of life. You're going to disappoint your kid whether you like it or not. Your kid's going to always have scars no matter what, right? Because we're here to learn, we're here to grow and expand, and we have to experience some forms of trauma in order to really heal, right? So no matter, you can be the perfect parent out there and your kid's still going to somewhat find flaws with you in the future. And that's something you just have to, like, relax. It's almost like you fear how your kid's going to view you in the future in a way. I don't know why, I'm just really feeling that. And it's just learning to, because what's happening is I'm sensing, because you have the 3 of Cups here, now you have the 2 of Cups, and that's in the reverse. It's almost like this is the child, and then there's the 2 of you, and you guys are, like, you guys appear happy, but what's happening is you two aren't really working together. You two need to find common ground, not only for your child's sake, but also for your sake as well, because I'm sensing that this is stressing you and this other person out, and it's unnecessary, because you both still come from a point of view of love. You both still come from a point of view of wanting to protect the child, but you're doing it in a way where you're both communicating it to where one or the other feels like they are getting judged or threatened, right? Like their beliefs are being threatened. You feel that from this person feels it from you. So I'm sensing that it's like the kid's in the middle of it. The kid's innocent. I'm just sensing the kid's not really like the kid's getting affected, but like I'm sensing that like it's interesting. It just feels more like between you and this other person, and the kid's just in the middle. But you know, taking the time to step back, really evaluate, especially when it comes with this individual. Because like I'm saying, I don't think this person has any ill intent towards you or your child. I keep feeling like it's a son for some reason. Like it's your son. But it can be a daughter too. I'm just feeling like for some reason just that came to my head. But yeah. When you can learn to find common ground with this other person because you both care, and when you can both come from a space of, okay, I want to, instead of getting defensive with this person, it takes a lot though to do this, but to come forward and say, okay, I want to understand your side. I want to understand why you think I should raise my kid this way. And then I want you to understand why I want to raise my kid this way. You know, try and find common ground that way. Work together, compromise. So I'm going to pull angels and ancestor cards to see what my Taurus family, what lessons they need to learn when it comes to family, what cycles they need to break. Oh my goodness. And this is like the longest video I have. Oh, perfect. All right. So, Taurus, we have Knight, be brave and honest. We have Oracles, wait for an important information. And we have Guardian Angel, you are not alone. So, what I was sensing here as well was this feeling of actual feeling alone, like you're in this alone. You feel like you're the only one that's like truly trying to get support. And it's like you have guardian angels, you have other people surrounding you. And if you guys are seeing like white feathers, or you guys are seeing like specific numbers or just certain sequences or patterns or things like that, pay attention, because that's them trying to get your attention. They're trying to let you know that you're not alone in this, that they're here to support you and protect you and your loved ones. And not only that, but like take some time, breathe out, be honest, and communicate your feelings to the other party, the person that's causing further conflict about how to raise this child. Because what I'm sensing is when you can come at it from a sense of being brave and honest, saying, look, in my childhood, my parent or this or that did something similar that you're suggesting, and that upsetted me because I know how that impacted me as a child, and I'm afraid that that's going to do the same for my child. And you know, when you can come from it from a state of that, where you can explain why you're doing or saying or acting the way you're doing, it gives the other person a bigger perspective of what you're going through, so they can understand it too. And also being willing to wait and listen to what they have to say. Pay attention to both parties, pay attention to both situations, listen to what they have to say to you and you have to say to them, and I promise you that this situation will start to change. Once you start to really come at it from a place of, okay, I want to take care of my child, I know you want to as well, so how can we make this work? When you're willing to compromise with this person, because I am sensing that this is like both parents. If it's not, it could be like a father or a mother or something. Like your father or mother or somebody like that. There's just somebody in your family that's involved with your child that is that you feel like if you can find common ground with this person, then that will make the world a difference. And not only that, but just learning to try and parent yourself before parenting your own child. Like, take the time to learn to parent yourself as well, because it's like you have needs and things that you were never met in childhood that you're trying to fulfill from your child or from your parents, and that's causing confliction within your dynamic as well. So that's what I have for you, Taurus. I hope that this resonates. I hope this gives you some form of insight. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great, wonderful day. Thank you. Bye.